So, when I was young, my mom told me that when I was a little girl, before I learned to talk, I would hum. So I'd be walking around the house and I would just be humming to my toys and humming to my food and humming to everybody until I guess maybe I evolved and was able to start saying words and all that kind of thing. And by the time I was 5, I think my mom knew that I was meant to perform, so she put some tap shoes on my feet. And I was tap dancing, and I wanted to be Shirley Temple. And I had the hair for it, so it seemed like a pretty great idea to me. And at 12 years old, I was living in Duncan, and I auditioned for the Cowichan Musical Society and got into my first musical, and I was so excited. I got to dance and sing and meet so many people that did the same thing that I wanted to do forever. And one year, when I was 14, they told me I couldn't be in the show. And I couldn't believe it. I was so devastated because I was 14 and it was the biggest rejection I'd ever gotten. And it wasn't because I wasn't a good singer or dancer or whatever. It was because in this specific show, I was too young to be the older people and I was too old to be one of the younger characters. But that didn't stop me. I did everything else. So I was backstage, I learned professional makeup, I learned men's makeup, women's makeup, I did props, I made costumes, and I was there at every show, backstage doing whatever they would let me do, whether it was useful or not, so that I could be there, because that's what I wanted to do. And in my last year of high school, I auditioned for the Canadian College of Performing Arts, and at the audition, I was in front center of my group of 5, and I was so scared and nervous. We just learned the dance, and I was standing there, and everybody's waiting. The music is starting, and we're all just waiting for the president of the school, Jacques Lemay, to give us the cue to start dancing. And I was so nervous. Sometimes when you're nervous, you just do things you don't know that you do. And he's looking at us, and it was almost like he was egging us on. He just started dancing, and he hadn't told us to start yet, but because I was nervous, I also started dancing. So luckily enough, I think that's why I ended up getting into that school. And I started playing my own songs. I found my mom's guitar. I started playing, and while I was in school, I think the most valuable thing they ever taught me was if you can't get a show, make a show. Do you want to turn this off for a moment? There we go. You can bring it back on now. Hi. He's part of the TED Talk too. So this song is a song I wrote called Lioness, once we get the guitar back on. Sorry, I can't promise you love, but I can promise you attention. The situation you mentioned when I couldn't find direction, said it's not the end of the world. So why is it if I'm stuck here with you, with you? So I would say that it's time to step up to the plate. I would say that it's time to grab my fate. I would say that it's time. I won't hesitate. Whoa. You said don't assume I want to consume your soul. You should know I don't need you to feel whole. Yet I'm confused that someone who tries could treat me the way that you do, the way you do. Said you forgot me. You don't see me. I am worthy. of something more than the way you look at me these days. So I would say that it's time to step up to the plate. I would say that it's time to grab my fate. I would say that it's time. I won't hesitate. Whoa. Boy, you've lost me, you've lost me, you've lost me. You don't see me, don't see me, don't see me. I'm worthy, can't cut me down. 'Cause I am stronger than a lioness. Said you and me, plus New York, it was a mess. Said you and me, plus New York, it was a test. So now I'm stronger than the lioness. So I would say that it's time. I would say that it's time. So I would say that it's time. Thank you. I'm gonna put this down. So after writing many albums of music, not that I have many albums, but I'm sure there are a lot of painters and writers who have a lot more writing than people even know exists. Piles, I'm sure. But after writing a bunch more music and enjoying all of that, I ended up going to Montreal. And when I was there, I really started busking, and I really started enjoying it. There are so many people there. There are so many people on the streets that are out there that want to support art, music, culture. It is fantastic. If you haven't been there, you got to go. It's awesome. I love being there. I loved everything about it because it helped me be able to see that it was okay. I'm allowed to go out and play on the street and play for people because they're there and they want to hear it. And even if they don't, they might, depending on what I play. So I started to think of busking. Which is playing on the street, like a science. So I'd be out there in the streets. Usually in the winter, I'd be inside, obviously, in the subway, because it was quite cold out there. It's a lot colder than out here in BC, as we all know. But yeah, I started to think of it like a science, because you have... There we are. Because you have 15 seconds from the moment a person, you see them, to be able to get them. So how are you going to get them? So to get the alternative, let's say, punk kid, I'd play something like this. My baby don't mess around because he loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does he really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out that door? Don't try to fight it, 'cause the thought alone, it's killing me right now. Thank God for Mom and Dad, 'cause they can do together what we don't know how. Singing hey ya, singing hey ya. Usually when I play this song on the street, I tell people this song is for the 14-year-old girls inside of you. And it was to get The hardest person to get for me on the street was the 35-year-old businesswoman. Those women, you are busy. They are busy people. They are going places, and they are driven. And they just don't even see me out there. So I really had to get creative to try and get those ladies to stop. But this one worked. Yeah, you are my fire, the one desire. Believe when I say that I want it that way. Ain't nothing but that heartache. I'm not kidding. Ain't nothing but that mistake. I never want to hear you say, 'cause I want it that way. Okay, I won't go any further than that. Thank you. But sometimes I would play something for me, and what I'd find is if I played a song for myself, people would really, really get into it because they'd see I was having a good time, and they'd be like, oh, I want to have a good time too. Sometimes I shave my legs, and sometimes I don't. Some days I comb my hair, and some days I don't. Depending on where the wind blows, I might even paint my toes. I said it really just depends on whatever feels good in my soul. Oh, 'cause I'm not the average girl from your video. Oh, and I ain't built like that supermodel, but I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen. I said I'm not the average girl from your video. Oh, my worth is not determined by the price of my clothes, but no matter what I'm wearing, I will always be the true woman inside of me. So this would be the family with their mom. I heard he had a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him and listen for a while. And there he was, this young boy, stranger to my eyes, strumming my pain with his fingers one time, singing my life with his words two times, killing me softly with this song, killing me softly with this song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with this song. Now, one thing I want to be clear. When I say that somebody's going to stop on the street, I don't mean that they're going to give me money. There are so many different things a person can do when you're on the street. When you make yourself this accessible to somebody, anything can happen. So, an example, a small child running up from their mother saying, "Would you like a ring?" "Sure," drops it in the case, runs off back to her mom. An elderly lady walking down the street in front of the Bay Center in Montreal, "Would you like a bag?" And I was like, okay, sure, I'd like a bag. Drops a brand new black purse she bought in a shop into my case. One time when I was playing, someone paid me $5 to stop playing. But it wasn't actually to stop playing. It was actually because he wanted to sit down and have a smoke and tell me about his life. He wanted to talk to somebody that day, and no one that wanted to talk to him was there, so he decided to pay someone to talk to him, like me. Now, it is true, I have been yelled at before to stop playing. But usually it just depends, you know? I mean, you're out there, free speech. I'm sure there's all kinds of reasons that people could be changed in their day. And sometimes there's really special things that happen. Sometimes I get some incredible messages messages left in my case. I've seen somebody, I think one of those beautiful moments for me was this day. I saw this young man who was on his skateboard, and he didn't even say anything to me. He just rode up on his board and found the one spot of sun about about that far away from me, and just took his skateboard and just leaned there and just slowly just fell down and just sat there for at least half an hour just to hear some music, just to stop and enjoy his day. So for me, I think that the reason I play on the street and the reason I busk is because I love unconditional love, because it's so raw and it's so beautiful. And I think that we really forget that connections with other people are so important, and that we need to definitely look at how we value happiness in our lives, because there's so many different ways that you could value it. And that brings me to something I wanted to share, which was a story an elder told me once. And the story, going back to the idea of if you can't get a show, make a show. The story is called The Gathering. I can't tell it exactly the same way, but I can give you the idea. And the idea is that back when animals were creating humans, they were all in a circle together. And they said, okay, we're going to create humans, and we're going to give them this amazing gift. And this amazing gift is that humans are going to be given the gift to make anything in their two hands. Anything they can possibly imagine, they're going to be able to do it. Well, how are we going to give them this gift, they say? Well, the fish says, let's put it at the bottom of the ocean. And they say, well, that's a great idea, but I don't think every human's going to be able to swim. Okay, so then the bear says, well, why don't we put it up a mountain? Well, I don't know if everyone's going to be able to walk either. And another says, well, why don't we put it up in a tree? Again, I don't think very many humans are going to know how to fly. And then they decided, well, why don't we do this? We'll put the gift to be able to create anything between their hands, and we'll place it inside their heart, so that every human, all they have to do is tap into their heart to find it. Ah, so beautiful. So I'm going to play one last song. And the point is that if you can't get a show, make a show to everything. So that means if you can't find the right job, make the right job. If you can't find the right place for yourself, if you don't feel like you fit somewhere, find somewhere else. You don't have to stay where you are to be happy. You can change. Anything can happen. Can I get your help? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Expectation, gotta get out of my equation. Doesn't feed me, doesn't help me, God, it makes me insecure. And that's not like me. Expectation complicates me. I can't use it, gotta lose it, take these butterflies away. So if you're flaky, babe, I got no use for eggs and bacon. I want something more nutritious, not so vicious, that's insensitive, and I like it smooth. Like a good cup of coffee, some Asian cookies I call Pocky. I dip one into the other, it's delicious, not so vicious, not nutritious, but it's simple, just like me. Hey, 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 hey. I like it smooth. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you.